You don't need an occasion to shop. This holds even truer in the world of online retail, where these days you can buy everything from a pin to cars. No, you can't buy a plane just yet. When the Amazons and Alibabas of the world have ruled the roost for long, a few young Turks from India are taking the future of e-tailing into their hands, and it's happening fast. Meet Kunal Bahl, 31 and already the CEO of India's largest online marketplace.
Well, these days, if you want a good deal online, there is one site that you always snap into. And I'm talking about Snapdeal.com, the company that's in the news for all the right reasons. Hello and welcome to CEO of Life, a show where we celebrate India's distinguished young entrepreneurs who just not believe in driving their business, but they do it with a lot of passion. And joining me today is Kunal Bahl, CEO and founder of Snapdeal.com. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to meet you. And congratulations.
Thank
you. A lot of deals have happened for you, a lot of good news. But tell us, away from all those business deals, everything, what drove you to start Snapdeal? When did that idea click?
I think our story is very significantly driven out of many accidents and occurrences which were not in our control. We started the company when I was in college. Rohit and I used to talk a lot about starting something together. So we knew we were going to start something of our own. But this company started completely out of accident, where I was working in the US with Microsoft, and they applied for my visa, which got rejected. So I was actually deported from the US back to India, and there was a fork in our careers where we said, either we can keep working for someone or start a company. And that's how we started the company. And honestly, we had no clue what we were doing, because when we first started, we started as a coupon book company. Yeah. And over a period of time, we morphed and pivoted 5 times, changed our business model 5 times before we got to the current business model. And I think that's sort of been the story of our company's journey, where it's largely been driven by a lot of objectivity and focusing on the facts and taking passionate decisions, but also decisions which are rooted in fact and not only in emotion.
Right. If I can quote from a very popular Walt Disney movie, Kung Fu Panda, where the turtle, who's the wise old man, talks about living in the present. Today is a present, that's why today is a gift, that's why it's called a present. Do you believe in that? Is it about living it, doing the best in the present, or planning for the future, looking back at the experiences left behind?
Our kind of business moves so fast that if you don't focus on what's going to happen a quarter out or a year out, you will not innovate as fast as you need to. Because the speed of innovation has to be so fast that you have to put many irons in the fire today, so that they start firing 1 quarter out or 1 year out or 2 years out. So the success, as people call it, that we've experienced right now is not because of something we did yesterday. It's because of something we may have done a year ago or 2 years ago. And it's important to know what are those things you want to invest in.
Yeah. Talking about today, the kind of interest, the kind of massive investments that e-tailing is really seeing. You guys are not focused on today at all right now. So when do you think, that all this hard work will start paying off, not just for you, but for the entire industry?
I think the hard work is already paying off. Our business model is very simple. We're creating a technology platform for small businesses in India to supply locally, but sell nationally to consumers across 5,000 towns and cities. So we are a very purpose-driven company that we want to create these life-changing experiences for 1 million small businesses in India in the next 3 years. Now, already, we've created fairly life-changing experiences for over 50,000 businesses who are on our platform. And we probably generated employment for over 100,000 people in our ecosystem across the people who have been employed at our sellers, courier companies, and also direct employment that Snapdeal has created. And I think that really is what gets us to come to office every day and give our 110%.
Yeah. talking about lives that you've changed. I was reading up, and there was a sari seller in Surat who used to do about 400 roughly per month. Now, apparently his business has grown with you.
Yeah.
Do you have more such anecdotes where lives of small town traders, which are very important to us in our ecosystem of the country, have changed?
Absolutely, there's so many stories, right? So, 30% of all merchants on Snapdeal are women entrepreneurs. So we are giving outlet to many women entrepreneurs. There's one lady who unfortunately lost her husband last year, and he used to be a seller on Snapdeal, and she used to work at a company. Then instead of continuing to work at her company, she actually left that job and became a seller on Snapdeal, and now supports her 2 children because of the business she gets on Snapdeal.
Also very important, I was reading up on your interviews in the past, and you keep talking about how failures are an important ladder to success.
Yeah.
A cliche, I know a lot of people say it, but how is that helped you?
At least my life has significantly been about, just fits and starts, right? How I met Rohit was because my parents compelled me to study for IIT, because my brother went to IIT, and I really did not want to do it, right? My heart was not, it was the last time in my life that I did something my heart was not into. And I didn't get in, obviously, but I met Rohit, so that was the big positive outcome out of it. And then the whole visa thing happened in the US. And then even in this company, as I said, we had to change our business model 5 times. There were 3 times where we ran out of money to even pay salaries. As recently as 1.5 years ago, we had to pay a certain amount of money for salaries, and we had only 1/10 that amount in the bank. But somehow each time...
How much was that 1/10?
It was 50 lakh rupees. We had only 50 lakh rupees left in the bank in January of 2013. Yeah. But I think this journey of being an entrepreneur, as long as you're very clear in your head that come what may, I'm going to make it work, then you become very objective, and you focus on finding solutions rather than finding problems with the situation you're in.
Driven by Kira, as Bahl calls it, to do something of their own, Bahl and his childhood friend Rohit Bansal started their entrepreneurial journey in 2007. They faced hard times, struggled to pay salaries, even contemplated going back to their old jobs. But giving up was not an option. At the end of 2011, the 2 best friends finally cracked it, and the rest, as they say, is history in the making.
Let's talk about your partnership with your best friend. Old guard says that don't do business with your friends, the family, the ones who are closest to you, because you turn into enemies. So how did it work out?
I think in our case, because Rohit and I had a fantastic interpersonal relation. As a friend, we were really, really close. When we were in school together, we used to really enjoy our company because both of us love food, both of us love dirty jokes. So, so we used to have a great time together, right? And we used to exchange math problems when we were in school. That's how nerdy we were. And I think I hear what you're saying, and I think it's true in many cases also. But in our case, what helped was that we were able to get past the tough situations easier, because we knew even if all went kaput, we still would have our friendship. And I think that played a very, very big role for us.
Do you guys fight a lot?
No. We debate, right? So if we go into a room and we have different opinions, and that happens often, as it should, and I'm happy it's the case, because what happens is when you work for a long time with someone, your views become too convergent, which is a bad thing for the company. Okay. But we have differing views, but if we go into a room with differing views, eventually, when we come out of the room, we'll have one view. Okay. And it doesn't matter whose view it is.
Okay, so you also said both you guys love bad jokes, right? What's the best bad joke between the 2 of you?
It's not appropriate for TV. Not appropriate for TV.
You don't have to say. Okay, let's look around. I just came to your office looking around. Age.
Yeah.
There's so many young people. Average age was, like you said,
24.
24.
Yeah.
You are 31 and you're the grand uncle here. I don't know, doesn't wisdom come with age? That's what we were always told.
I think wisdom comes with experiences. Experiences sometimes take time to get. And as a result, people say wisdom comes with age. But if you can compress a lot of your experiences in life in a short period of time, which I think we've been able to as a team and as entrepreneurs, you start getting wise about certain situations. But are we wise people? Probably not. Right? We have so much to learn. We make so many mistakes every single day. And so we are cognizant of the fact that we are not wise people by any stretch of imagination, but I don't think wisdom only comes with age also.
Do you have a grand old man that you go to? Do you have an inspiration, somebody you look up to?
I look up to many, many people. Of course, I look up to Sonsan at SoftBank, who's now invested in our company. I look up to Mr. Tata, who's also invested in our company. I look up to Mr. Premji. A lot of people, we are so blessed. A lot of people we've always looked up to as we were children and as we were entrepreneurs have actually invested in our company now. But I would say the person I turn to the most for advice is actually Rohit.
Okay.
Because I feel that outside of the business situation, he understands me as a person, so he'll give balanced advice.
Having a marketplace like this is also becoming eco-friendly, isn't it?
Yeah.
I could think of a company not having to have huge factories and all, but apart from that, you were telling me that there's a lot more to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, we are a technology platform that's enabling businesses to sell more efficiently to consumers across the country. So automatically, the supply chains are becoming more efficient. And I can guarantee that the traffic in India, at least in the big cities, will improve over time because of e-commerce. Because suddenly, you don't have to go out to buy everything offline. While you may be buying from the same merchant, but now it's coming to your home in a more eco-friendly manner on a bike.
Okay, so will you one day be supplying groceries and vegetables to us in the near future?
You know, look, in some of the developed markets in the world, grocery is taking off really, really fast. I think it's only a matter of time. The same will happen in India.
And you are a closet food critic, I hear?
I do. I enjoy
Would you
food.
have made a career out of being a food critic?
All I wanted to do in life when I was younger was be a traveling food and movie critic.
Okay, a traveling
Food
and movie critic. We'll talk about that. Going to a short break, be back with much more.
For a 31-year-old, Kunal Bahl consumes a lot of technology every day. But at the end of the day, what he really craves for is food. And he's likely to travel anywhere in the world to fulfill his urge to eat a specific meal. His passion for food even outdates his desire to start Snapdeal. In fact, it may have been instrumental in making him an entrepreneur.
Welcome back to CEO of Life, and we are in conversation with Kunal Bahl, CEO and co-founder of Snapdeal.com. People say that your love for food was instrumental in making you an entrepreneur that you are today.
It's actually quite true because when I was in college, I had no money, and this was in the US. So the only way I could pay for meals at decent restaurants outside of the food trucks on our campus was by doing 3 jobs. And but you know, I was making $8–10 an hour, so I realized if I can use coupons for my meals, I have to work half as many hours so I could sleep more in the morning. And I think that played a very big role, because when we first started the company, we started as a coupon book business. And that's where the insight came from. If it could become so successful in the US, why not here?
So that made it bigger and bigger and bigger. One thing most people also want to know about you is, you know, I was just at your office upstairs and I saw a dress code for your employees. Are you conscious about what you wear? What do you wear? Are you, you know, when you go for meetings, do you have a kind of a stylist?
No, no, not by a long stretch of imagination. But I love to be comfortable. Like it's very rare for me to wear a coat, for instance. Very rare for me to wear anything but jeans, for instance, right? So I've never worn a tie. Actually, on my wedding also, I didn't wear a tie, which was very unusual for everyone. It's only extremely formal, like government meetings, that I may wear a tie, but otherwise I avoid it, because I feel I can think more freely if I'm dressed more comfortably.
Seriously?
I don't think people judge us by the way we dress. As long as we are decently dressed, we don't show up in shorts or anything, I think they're completely fine if we come in jeans and a shirt and maybe a jacket or something. I think the world has changed a little bit. People don't judge you by the way you dress, they judge you by the way you talk, the way you represent your thoughts, and by your actions.
Right. And apart from all the deals that you do, you work hard, you're passionate about your business, you love your business. Apart from that, how do you de-stress? What is that one thing? You know, I've heard people, they go back to family. What is your de-stress mantra?
I think